The air is thick with the weight of untold secrets. Imagine walking through the corridors of history, where every shadow whispers a story that official records have tried to erase. Our journey begins not with the well-documented chronicles of kings and conquerors, but with a question that gnaws at the edges of human curiosity: what lies hidden just beyond the reach of our understanding? There are places on this earth, relics of civilizations long gone, where inscriptions vanish before the eyes of historians, and artifacts defy the logic of their own era. History, as we know it, is a carefully constructed narrative. Dates, names, and battles are recorded with precision, yet some events, some discoveries, are deliberately left in the shadows, or perhaps never fully explained at all. Could it be that what has been lost is not merely chance, but design? Across continents, there are monuments whose purpose remains unclear, symbols whose meaning resists translation, and tales of knowledge so advanced that modern science struggles to comprehend it. And yet, every generation encounters a fragment, a clue, a tantalizing glimpse into a past that seems stranger than fiction. Consider the paradox of ancient maps that depict coastlines and continents long before they were officially discovered, or texts that reference astronomical knowledge seemingly beyond the capabilities of their time. Are these anomalies the result of forgotten ingenuity, or the remnants of a hidden civilization deliberately erased from the narrative of humanity? This tension between recorded history and what lies beyond, between the comfortable explanations of modern scholars and the uncanny evidence that refuses to conform, is the very thread that we will follow. As we embark on this journey, the goal is not merely to catalogue oddities but to awaken a sense of wonder, to challenge the assumption that history is complete. Imagine opening a door to a room locked for millennia and peering into its depths. The objects inside are silent, yet they speak volumes about who we were, and who, or what, we may have been connected to. The boundary between myth and reality blurs, revealing that sometimes the most extraordinary truths are hidden in plain sight, dismissed as legend or coincidence. This opening chapter sets the stage for a descent into the mysteries that have fascinated, perplexed, and terrified scholars and explorers alike. With each story, each artifact, and each enigma, we will step closer to answering questions that history has either ignored or suppressed. By the end of this exploration, we may not have all the answers, but the journey itself will expose a world of secrets, where reality teeters on the edge of the impossible, and the past refuses to remain silent. The death of Alexander the Great has long been shrouded in an almost impenetrable fog of rumor and intrigue. Official accounts claim he fell ill in Babylon in 323 BCE, suffering from a fever that steadily worsened until it claimed his life. But even in antiquity, there were whispers that the official narrative might be more fiction than fact. How could a man of such extraordinary vitality, who had led armies across continents, be felled so suddenly? Historians have debated whether it was natural causes, typhoid fever, malaria, or pancreatitis, or something far darker, like deliberate poisoning. The subtle traces of political maneuvering, and the sudden deaths of close companions, hint at a world where ambition and betrayal ran as deep as the rivers of the ancient world. Contemporary accounts, written by those who either admired or feared him, offer conflicting details. Some describe a gradual decline, a once mighty figure weakened by mysterious illness. Others paint a more sinister picture, suggesting that Alexander's enemies might have conspired against him, using the potent poisons of the era, substances capable of leaving almost no trace. The question lingers: could someone have orchestrated the death of the world's most powerful man in secret, and why has history not definitively answered this question? The contrast between historical records and legend is stark. Later writers, Plutarch, Arrian, and Diodorus, wove narratives that blurred fact and myth. They described omens, portents, and divine signs, framing Alexander's death as part of a cosmic design, almost as if his demise was preordained. These accounts captivate because they are more than historical records, they are stories meant to awe and terrify, to remind listeners of the fragility of even the greatest empires. The lines between reality and myth begin to fade, leaving room for speculation and the tantalizing possibility that something was deliberately concealed. Modern science has tried to pierce this ancient veil. Analysis of ancient texts, along with knowledge of diseases endemic to Babylon at the time, allows scholars to reconstruct possible scenarios. Yet each theory raises more questions than it answers. If it was illness, why did symptoms manifest in such an unusual pattern? If it was poisoning, who would have had access, motive, and the means? The more we dig, the deeper the mystery becomes. Alexander's death, rather than being a closed chapter, emerges as a puzzle still resisting solution. What is perhaps most fascinating is how the death of one man could ripple across the world, altering the course of history. His sudden absence left a vacuum, igniting power struggles that would define empires for decades. The uncertainty surrounding his final days makes the story of Alexander not only a tale of conquest but also a haunting reminder that even the greatest are vulnerable to forces, both natural and human, that may never be fully understood. As we peer into this ancient enigma, we are forced to confront a timeless truth: history itself can be as mysterious and elusive as the men and women who shape it. The journey of Alexander's body was not merely a matter of transportation, it became a drama of power, ambition, and legend that spanned continents. Imagine the enormous golden sarcophagus, draped with royal insignias, rolling along dusty caravan routes, flanked by soldiers and courtiers whose eyes reflected both reverence and fear. Every mile carried political significance. Whoever controlled the body could claim legitimacy over a vast empire fractured by conquest and succession. Historical records speak of Ptolemy intercepting the funeral procession, diverting it to Egypt, a strategic act that ensured his rise as ruler in the chaotic aftermath of Alexander's death. Yet, whispers and legends suggest other possibilities: a shadowy network of rival generals plotting to seize or even hide the body, each step shrouded in secrecy and betrayal. The narrative splits between cold historical facts and mythic embellishments. On one side, we have accounts of the elaborate preparations, the embalming process, the construction of a magnificent tomb in Alexandria, and the elaborate ceremonies meant to honor the conqueror. On the other, myths tell of curses, secret routes, and even supernatural interference, stories of caravans vanishing in deserts, treasure-laden ships sinking mysteriously, and guards mysteriously disappearing in the night. These tales, often dismissed by historians, nevertheless persisted for centuries, creating a haunting allure that mingled fear with fascination. Cinematic tension heightens when we consider the human element. Soldiers and courtiers, navigating deserts and treacherous mountain passes, face starvation, bandits, and the ever-looming threat of betrayal from within their own ranks. Each decision along the route, from choosing a resting place for the night to negotiating passage through hostile territories, carried the weight of history and the potential to alter legend. Scholars debate whether the body ever reached Alexandria intact, or if secret factions smuggled parts of it elsewhere, fueling speculation that the true resting place of Alexander the Great remains a mystery even today. As the procession reached the Nile, Egyptian priests and Ptolemaic officials orchestrated ceremonies that were equal parts politics and ritual. Every incense-filled hall, every gilded chamber, was designed not only to honor the dead but to solidify Ptolemy's authority over the sprawling and diverse lands of the former Macedonian Empire. It was a performance as much as a burial, a calculated interplay of faith, fear, and propaganda. By blending documented history with lingering enigmas, this section immerses the audience in a world where the lines between reality and legend blur. Viewers are left questioning: did Alexander truly rest in the tomb we know, or is his final journey still hidden in the shadows of history? Each detail, golden sarcophagi, hidden routes, whispered conspiracies, serves to pull them deeper into the story, ensuring that every fact and every myth fuels the suspense of the narrative. As whispers of lost civilizations echo through history, the focus shifts to the enigmatic discoveries that have both fascinated and baffled explorers for centuries. Ancient texts hint at structures of unimaginable scale and precision, their existence defying the technological capabilities of their time. Archaeologists have unearthed fragments of cities that suggest a sophisticated understanding of mathematics, astronomy, and engineering, knowledge that seems impossibly advanced for the eras in which these structures were built. The very stones themselves seem to speak, etched with symbols and alignments that hint at cosmic significance, yet their meaning remains just beyond reach. Contemporary science attempts to rationalize these wonders. Geologists analyze the stone quarries, carbon dating pinpoints construction timelines, and architectural experts attempt to reconstruct the methods of ancient builders. Yet, each explanation opens new questions. How were massive monoliths transported with such precision? Why are astronomical alignments so exact across continents that had no apparent contact? Some suggest lost knowledge, forgotten in the annals of time, while others whisper of intervention by forces beyond human comprehension. Eyewitness accounts from early explorers add layers of intrigue. Sketches from travelers depict labyrinthine passages, hidden chambers, and artifacts that disappear without explanation. Legends told by indigenous populations speak of civilizations older than recorded history, their wisdom encoded in myth, yet stubbornly resistant to modern decoding. Here, science and legend collide, the empirical evidence can be measured, touched, and analyzed, but the aura of mystery persists, an invisible thread pulling investigators towards secrets that might never be fully revealed. This section leaves viewers on the precipice of wonder, immersed in both the tangible ruins and the intangible enigmas they embody. It prepares the mind for the next phase of exploration, the theories that attempt to stitch together fact and speculation, revealing a world where history may be far stranger than anyone ever imagined. The city of Alexandria, perched on the edge of the Mediterranean, was no ordinary metropolis. It was a beacon of power, ambition, and intellectual brilliance, founded by Alexander the Great himself yet shaped by the ambitions of those who followed him. The streets, once lined with grand columns and temples, echoed with whispers of secrets buried beneath layers of history. Many historians believe that Alexander's final resting place was hidden somewhere within this sprawling urban labyrinth, but centuries of conquest, decay, and deliberate obfuscation have left little tangible evidence. Archaeologists have uncovered fragments of tombs and ceremonial structures, yet none can be definitively linked to the great conqueror. Legends speak of a tomb so magnificent that it rivaled the grandeur of the pharaohs, adorned with gold, gemstones, and inscriptions detailing Alexander's divine lineage. Some accounts suggest that the Ptolemaic rulers, wary of political rivals and the potential desecration of such a sacred site, intentionally concealed the burial, redirecting the city's focus toward grand libraries and cultural landmarks instead. Modern scholars, armed with satellite imagery, ancient texts, and fragments of papyrus, continue to debate its location, oscillating between plausibility and myth. The suspense deepens when one considers reports from travelers and chroniclers of the past. Some described secret corridors beneath the city, hidden chambers, and cryptic hieroglyphs pointing toward a tomb never seen by the outside world. Could it be that the city itself was designed as a puzzle, a living labyrinth meant to guard its most treasured secret? Tales of looters who allegedly found treasures but vanished without a trace only add to the intrigue, blurring the line between historical record and legend. Contrast emerges when we examine the archaeological facts. Stone foundations, remnants of monumental buildings, and scattered inscriptions suggest a city of immense wealth and sophistication. Yet, despite centuries of excavation, no indisputable evidence of Alexander's final resting place has emerged. This tension between what is physically verifiable and what is whispered in legends keeps the mystery alive. Scholars argue, skeptics dismiss, but the allure of uncovering a secret that could rewrite history continues to haunt every expedition. As the sun sets over the Mediterranean, imagining the journey to a hidden tomb becomes almost cinematic. Picture narrow passages carved into bedrock, chambers filled with dust-covered treasures, and the faint echo of footsteps centuries old. Every corridor, every stone could be a clue, or a deliberate dead end, meant to frustrate those who seek answers. The city's very design seems to challenge time itself, daring the curious to discover what history has chosen to obscure. The question remains, did Alexander's body rest in a tomb designed to be eternal, or has it been lost to history forever? Alexandria guards its secret with both grandeur and guile, leaving modern explorers to navigate between evidence and legend, fact and myth. Each discovery, each tantalizing lead, offers a glimpse into a past where power, fear, and reverence collided, leaving a mystery that may never be fully solved, yet continues to captivate the imagination of all who hear its story. The disappearance of Alexander the Great's tomb has fascinated historians, archaeologists, and treasure hunters for centuries, leaving behind a trail of tantalizing clues and unanswered questions. Imagine the tomb as it might have been in its prime, a grand monument of marble and gold, filled with treasures, relics, and symbols of a ruler whose ambition knew no bounds. Yet today, it has vanished, swallowed by the sands of time or hidden by human hands, and its fate remains a riddle that continues to haunt us. Scholars have proposed multiple theories to explain this mystery, each one carrying its own shadow of plausibility and intrigue. Some believe the tomb was looted during the upheavals of late antiquity, as armies swept through Egypt and Macedonia, stripping monumental sites of wealth with ruthless efficiency. In this version, the tomb's treasures were scattered across the Mediterranean, lost to history but leaving behind whispers of immense riches in private collections and lost archives. Others suggest a more deliberate erasure, a carefully orchestrated concealment by rulers who feared the political or spiritual power of Alexander's resting place. Could it have been moved to protect it from looters, hidden deep underground or behind sealed chambers, its location deliberately erased from memory? Modern archaeologists have attempted to trace these movements, using everything from ancient texts to satellite imagery, but the evidence is frustratingly fragmented. Some rely on the accounts of historians like Pausanias, whose writings hint at tombs and monuments that no longer exist, blending fact with legend in a way that fuels endless debate. Meanwhile, rumors and mythological overlays complicate the story further. Tales of curses protecting the tomb, secret guardians, or hidden chambers filled with treasures that could alter history have captured the imagination of writers and explorers alike, blurring the line between historical record and legend. This collision between science and myth, the archaeological evidence versus the imaginative tales, creates a tension that keeps the mystery alive. As we piece together these fragments, the tomb becomes not just a lost resting place, but a symbol of the human fascination with immortality, power, and the unknowable past. Each theory, whether grounded in documented history or whispered legend, adds layers to a narrative that refuses to be solved. The cinematic image emerges, a tomb once radiant, now invisible, leaving only questions in its wake. It is this haunting interplay of possibility and uncertainty that draws us in, compelling us to keep searching, imagining, and wondering what truly became of Alexander the Great's final resting place. Modern efforts to uncover the secrets of the ancient world have often been a blend of science, speculation, and sheer obsession. Archaeologists and historians have poured decades into excavations, scouring the deserts of Egypt, the jungles of South America, and the remote mountains of Central Asia, each hoping to stumble upon a clue that might finally illuminate the mysteries of lost civilizations. Yet, for every tantalizing fragment of pottery or crumbling tablet, there seems to be a wall of silence, a puzzle that refuses to yield its secrets. Satellite imagery and ground-penetrating radar have revolutionized the search, offering a view into areas humans cannot easily reach. These tools have revealed unusual formations beneath layers of sand and soil, geometric patterns that defy natural explanation and hint at long-lost structures, yet time and again, the exact truth remains frustratingly out of reach. Some sites appear tantalizingly close to discovery, only to be thwarted by political instability, harsh climates, or simple misfortune. Explorers recount stories of maps that vanish from archives, of permits that are mysteriously delayed, of sudden storms that wash away days of careful excavation. In one infamous case, a team surveying a hidden valley reported seeing the glint of something extraordinary through their infrared scanners, what looked like a ceremonial complex, buried under centuries of debris. But when they returned with full equipment, the valley had been bulldozed for construction, erasing the evidence forever. Such near misses have become almost legendary in archaeological circles, fueling myths as much as they do scientific inquiry. The contrast between hope and frustration is stark. On one hand, technology provides unprecedented access to places previously unreachable. On the other, the historical record is fragmentary, and even the most sophisticated equipment cannot always penetrate the fog of time. Researchers often find themselves relying on ancient texts, oral traditions, and folklore to guide their digs, weighing legends against evidence, science against superstition. It is here that the line between history and myth blurs. A reference in a 2,000-year-old manuscript might lead to a promising excavation site, yet could also send a team into a dry riverbed or a cave filled only with rubble. Yet, despite the obstacles, the human fascination with discovery persists. Each dig carries the possibility of rewriting history, of uncovering a civilization that challenges everything we thought we knew about the ancient world. When fragments of statues are pieced together, or inscriptions partially deciphered, the thrill is intoxicating. It is a reminder that history is not static, it is a living, breathing narrative, waiting for those patient and daring enough to chase it. And in the shadows of these searches, stories abound of mysterious artifacts that appear and disappear, of documents that vanish from museums, and of whispers of discoveries suppressed or hidden for reasons no one fully understands. This delicate balance of knowledge and mystery, of painstaking research and tantalizing possibility, is the heartbeat of modern archaeology. Every step forward is measured, every discovery analyzed with a skeptical eye. Yet, the allure of the unknown remains irresistible, drawing explorers, scientists, and dreamers alike into a world where the past is alive, and the next revelation could be just beyond the horizon. In these quests, the line between fact and legend is constantly tested, and the greatest discoveries are often as much about the journey as the destination. The world waits silently, guarding its secrets, daring humanity to uncover them, but never without exacting its price. In the shadowy corners of history, there are claims that stretch the line between fact and fantasy, stories that mainstream scholars dismiss yet continue to captivate the imagination. Some say secret tombs, long thought lost or destroyed, lie hidden in plain sight, guarded by shadows of the past or veiled by deliberate secrecy. Others whisper of subterranean networks beneath the world's oldest cities, tunnels that may have connected powerful rulers to forbidden knowledge or secret cults, now buried beneath centuries of stone and dust. Documents and artifacts occasionally surface, but their authenticity is debated, and many are claimed to have been suppressed, destroyed, or hidden by governments, religious authorities, or even scholars, adding layers of mystery to the intrigue. The allure of these conspiracies is not just about what might be hidden, it's the tension they create between established history and forbidden possibility. On one hand, evidence is scarce, sometimes contradictory, and the methods of verification are rigorous and unforgiving. On the other hand, the tantalizing narratives, maps with untraceable landmarks, manuscripts that vanish from archives, whispers of rituals performed in secrecy, offer a glimpse into worlds that could exist parallel to the history we accept. The continued obsession with lost tombs, hidden tunnels, and secret societies raises profound questions. Why are these stories so persistent across cultures? Why do they inspire treasure hunters, scholars, and conspiracy theorists alike? Some argue it is human nature to seek what is forbidden, to believe in the unseen and the hidden. Others suggest that perhaps history itself is more malleable than we realize, written by those in power, leaving gaps that invite speculation. By examining these claims, we do not fully resolve the mysteries, they resist closure, but we amplify the tension between skepticism and possibility. Each story, whether partially true or entirely fabricated, feeds into a larger, almost cinematic narrative where every discovery or suppression seems orchestrated for maximum intrigue. The very act of questioning becomes part of the mystery, inviting viewers to weigh the evidence, consider the implications, and confront the delicate balance between documented history and the irresistible pull of the unknown. The discovery of Alexander's tomb has long captured the imaginations of historians, treasure hunters, and conspiracy theorists alike. Imagine standing before a structure untouched for centuries, the air thick with the weight of history and the secrets it has kept hidden. This section will explore what such a find could mean, not just in terms of archaeology, but in reshaping our understanding of an entire era. Historians have debated for centuries where the tomb might lie, and each theory carries its own narrative of power, legacy, and intrigue. Some envision treasures that rival anything seen in modern museums, while others speculate on texts or relics that could rewrite the story of Alexander's conquests and governance. We will contrast the romanticized visions of discovery, filled with dramatic fanfare and cinematic expectation, against the meticulous, painstaking reality of archaeological science. Each fragment of evidence must be carefully analyzed, dated, and verified, the danger of misinterpretation looms large. The section will delve into the potential cultural and political implications, how uncovering the tomb could ignite national pride, international disputes, or even fuel new historical debates about Alexander's influence on world civilization. Moreover, the psychological weight of the tomb's discovery cannot be ignored. People are drawn to mysteries not just for answers, but for the thrill of possibility, what it tells us about human ambition, mortality, and our connection to the past. By juxtaposing legend with fact, this part of the script will build suspense, leaving the audience both in awe of the historical significance and questioning what truths might forever remain just out of reach. The emotional resonance comes from understanding that this mystery is not just about a tomb, but about humanity's endless quest to understand itself through the echoes of those who shaped the world before us. Even as we stand on the edges of modern understanding, gazing into the shrouded corridors of history, the enigma of Alexander's tomb refuses to yield its secrets. Centuries have passed, yet the mystery remains as tantalizing as ever, a siren call to explorers, historians, and dreamers alike. Scholars debate the very existence of the tomb, some insisting it lies buried beneath layers of civilization, hidden from the world by deliberate design or natural catastrophe. Others claim it was lost to looters, swept away in the tides of conquest, its treasures dispersed across empires. Each theory carries weight, each argument seduces the mind, and each hypothesis opens the door to yet another labyrinth of questions. The tension between fact and myth is irresistible. Archaeologists uncover fragments, ancient coins, weathered inscriptions, accounts from chroniclers long dead, and attempt to piece together a coherent story. Yet every discovery seems only to deepen the enigma. Was Alexander's tomb a magnificent monument befitting the greatest conqueror of the ancient world, a testament carved from marble and gold? Or was it something far humbler, a private resting place hidden from human eyes, known only to a select few who swore to guard its location across generations? Modern technology offers new tools, ground-penetrating radar, satellite imagery, digital reconstruction, but even these cannot penetrate the veil of time completely. Some mysteries resist revelation, no matter how advanced our methods become. But perhaps it is this very resistance that makes the mystery so compelling. Alexander's story is not just the story of a man, or even of a tomb, it is the story of human ambition, obsession, and the desire to touch immortality. In every whispered legend, in every historical account, in every scholarly debate, we glimpse our own fascination with the unknown. The tomb, real or imagined, represents the ultimate intersection of history and imagination, a place where fact and myth intertwine so tightly that separating them may be impossible. We are drawn to these questions not simply to solve them, but to experience the tension, to walk alongside the echoes of those who sought answers before us. Imagine standing in the twilight of a deserted ruin, the wind stirring dust over cracked stone, tracing the footprints of conquerors and tomb robbers alike. The thrill lies not only in discovery but in the contemplation of what has been lost and what might still lie hidden. The story stretches beyond Alexander himself, it encompasses empires, ambition, greed, secrecy, and the fragile permanence of memory. Even as the sun sets on our exploration, one truth emerges with crystalline clarity: some mysteries are destined to endure. The tomb may never be found, its secrets may remain locked away in the silent embrace of earth and legend. Yet the pursuit itself is part of what keeps history alive, transforming stone and story into a living, breathing enigma that transcends generations. It reminds us that the past is not static, it is a realm we can explore with imagination, with curiosity, and with a willingness to sit in awe of the unknown. As we leave the echoing halls of speculation and the shadowed corridors of history, we carry with us the sense that some mysteries, like Alexander's tomb, are more than mere artifacts or locations. They are symbols of humanity's unending quest to understand, to discover, and to confront the limits of knowledge. In the fading light, we imagine treasures buried, secrets whispered across millennia, and the enduring allure of what lies just beyond our reach. And in that imagination, the mystery lives on, eternal, captivating, and unbroken.